Thank you, everyone. It's so wonderful to connect with all of you. I have been looking forward to this session quite a lot. So I am going to just, I sorry firstly for keeping you waiting. I was invited by the Goa tourism minister for an event here, and I have just been running around doing that. And you know how things are with, when it's with government related things, where things can go a little bit late. So my apologies for that, my personal apologies. But I will not keep you waiting any further. I am just going to start sharing my screen and get right into the presentation. May I start sharing the screen?
Sure. Please go ahead,
I'm
Kaushal.
just sending you a
Yeah.
request. Yeah, is my screen visible, Kazaina?
Not yet, Kaush.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. I just want to minimize this window. So this session is all about traveling smart. I think all of you, the fact that you are connected to Ethica means you're already smart, and you must be smart travelers already. But let's do a quick show of hands. We're just going to run a quick poll here. And let's see who here has traveled. Um, have you traveled internationally? Have you traveled within India? Or have you never traveled solo? Can we get some answers on that? I will have to look at my window once again here to see your answers. Zaina, have you already shared the poll? I am not able to see that here.
Sure, Kaushal. Just give me a moment.
Sure.
Please let me know if you're able to
Yes, now I
have
see the poll.
access. Okay, all right. Wonderful.
So if feel free to have multiple answers here. You may have traveled internationally, you may have traveled within India, you may have never traveled solo, whatever it is, please share your answers. I'm curious to know who I'm talking to. Has everyone shared? Can we look at the answers now? Can we look at the answers now, Kazaina?
Yep. So it's 44% internationally and 68% within India and 35% who have never traveled solo.
35%. Okay, wonderful. I'm really happy that a lot of people, over 60% of you have traveled internationally. 60%, right? Was it 40%? Has traveled internationally. But that's good to know that there are so many people who are going to probably be able to relate to things or even share their own perspectives. So I'm going to go back to my own story now. For the last 19 years, I have been traveling all around the world. I have spent a lot of time in South America, especially. So if any of you have specific questions about that continent, I have also done the northern part of Europe, which is Scandinavia. I have spent almost 11 months across South America. I have spent a month across Europe, spent a month across the US, 1 week across Australia, and then across Asia, of course, like 3 months perhaps. So lots of stories, lots of countries. I've done 24 countries so far and made a lot of mistakes. So that's most important to tell you that, don't think that, I'm some um, super expert who knows everything. Each of us is an expert in our own way. Each of us has experiences and stories to tell. I'm just here to tell you my stories so that you can learn from them and give you some tips and advice on how you can do things better. Yeah. So for me, the call to explore, it really came from the very place where I currently am, which is Goa, and that began in 2007. In the year 2007, I took 4 trips across Goa. This was in January, February, November, and December. All 4 months are excellent to travel across Goa. And I have been exploring Goa for the last 22 years now, since 2007. Since 2004, actually, but 2007 was the turning point. That was the time when I spent the most amount of time in Goa, and which also led me to start exploring this whole concept of why am I coming back to the same place? What's in it that is attracting me so much to keep coming back to it? And why am I wanting to explore it in different ways through different perspectives? And that is the reason I say that travel changed the way I think, the way I work, and the way I live. The way I think, like I mentioned, the way I work is basically, like I mentioned today, I was at an event which was organized by the Goa Tourism, and they are promoting digital nomads. And you'll be surprised and happy to know that I was one of the first digital nomads who came and started working in Goa in 2010. Because I loved Goa so much in 2007, I decided to come here and explore how I could live here. It was not as easy as things were after COVID here in India. So in the year 2010, it was much more challenging to work from anywhere, to work from Goa. But over the years, I did manage to start getting better at it and start convincing my clients that yes, I can work from Goa. So that's been quite an interesting journey. And then 2008, Brazil, Colombia, and Ecuador happened. That was a trip that literally changed my life. I had gone for 40 days to explore the continent of South America. And I was a fool because 40 days is not enough to even explore maybe one state in India. And you know how big Brazil is? The entire country of Brazil is 2.5 times the size of India. So if we can't even explore one state in 40 days in India, how can we imagine to explore all of the continent in 40 days? So guess what? The trip that started in 2008 in Brazil, I came back to India in January of 2009. So I stayed there for 5 months and I spent all of my money. I came back flat broke. It's not something I would recommend to anyone. But early in my 20s, it was something which I could do because I did not have that many responsibilities at that time. So lots of stories to tell about that, but let me not keep talking about myself. Let me just get going with the presentation. So what are we here today for? I'm going to leave you with a bunch of travel hacks, which includes flight deals, which includes how do you crack visas, stay deals, what kind of different avenues for stay are possible and available to you. I'm going to share some of my real stories. Um, I would love to hear yours also, but I don't think we have enough time to have everybody's stories being told. Uh, and also, we're going to discuss some hidden destinations, some of the destinations which at least for me, they were hidden. And discovering them, I felt like, why don't people know about these places in India? Why don't people know about these places around the world? And some of them might surprise you also. We'll get to that slide and we'll get into more details on that. But this is what you are basically going to take home today. Yeah. Travel hacks, real stories, and hidden destinations across the world, not just India. So I call this the ASE, the ACE framework. It all starts with access, followed by stay, and then experience. A for access, S for stay, and E for experience. Um, what do I mean by that? Let's get into details of that. So access is the most important part, right? Before you even start traveling, you need to book your flights, you need to book your hotels, you need to look at visas if you're traveling internationally. You also look, when you're traveling internationally, you also need to look at Forex, how will your money work, and packing, right? Because how do you pack smartly if you're going to be traveling for a long duration, or even for a shorter duration? So I will leave you with some tips even around that. So that is the access part. Access is what you require to start your travel. Followed by that is stay, and then followed by that is experience. I will get into that a little later, but let's start with the flights part of access. I think this is perhaps the most important part when you're booking a vacation or your travels, simply because that kind of sets the tone for what your overall cost for the trip is going to be, right? For example, I have found some amazing deals. I know they may not be as possible today with rising gas prices and the war going on, But to give you a few examples, thanks to these tips that I'm going to be leaving you with, I have flown on an average, the flight ticket to go to the US for me has been 50,000 return, 50. On an average, the return fare for me to go to South America has been 1 lakh. I've been there 3 times. I've been to the US 3 times. I have been to Europe 3 times. And Europe, the average price for me has been 30,000. So, for example, I have flown to Finland for 33,000, to Italy for 31,000, and Germany was, I was invited by the tourism board, so there was this free. Um, so how do I do all this, right? How do I crack the pricing? So I will leave you with some tips that I use. Some of you may know about them, and that may just ratify the fact that these work, right? But if you have any further tips beyond that, do also message so that everyone else also benefits from that. But let me take you through these one by one very quickly. I have mentioned two critical websites here. One on the left-hand side, you see TV.com, and on the right side, you see Skyscanner. Now, I have looked at multiple such sites for flight booking: TV, Skyscanner, Kayak, Ixigo, Indian websites like ClearTrip, all of these. And these two is what I prefer, at least for international travel. When it's domestic, I usually prefer ClearTrip or Ixigo. When it's international, I prefer Kiwi or Skyscanner. And I will tell you why. So let's go one thing at a time. One of the key features you want to definitely take advantage of is setting price alerts. Yeah. So price alerts are what you see here. So on Kiwi.com, you have something called, let's say this is the city that you are going to start from. This is your home city. And as you start looking for things on the website will prompt you saying set up price alerts. And this helps you saying that, okay, if I'm flying from Mumbai to Sao Paulo, which is in Brazil, and now the site knows that, hey, I'm interested in traveling to Brazil. And if I do this set up price alerts, it will keep sending me regular deals in my email. No spam. I can vouch for that. Kiwi's not paying me for saying this. So trust me on that. Um, when you do this, you will keep getting. So, for example, right now it is showing me around 1,65,000, which is for me, it is pretty high because, like I said, I have paid around 1 lakh for my return journey. But this was 17 years ago. I have been there 3 times. Once was 17 years ago, one was 11 years ago, and one was 6 years ago. And again, the average pricing has been around 1 lakh. Am I going too fast? Should I slow down? Zaina, anyone else? You can just give me feedback. Otherwise, I can slow down or hasten my pace according to that.
Well, thank
Everything
you so
okay?
much for asking, Kaushal. It's going good. And if there is
Yeah,
anybody who has anything in mind, you can just drop it in the chat box. Okay.
sure. Thank you, Zaina. So yeah, as I was saying, setting up price alerts is one of the key features. One of the key features you should take advantage of, especially on TV. All of these websites have it. My favorite is TV.com. The second one is be flexible with dates. Now, this is easier said than done, right? Sometimes we only get certain vacation time, which cannot overlap with other people's vacation time. So there is a little bit of mix and match that needs to be done here. But the general rule is the more flexible you are with your dates, the better your chances of getting better deals. So what I mean by that, point number four, when you see anywhere, everywhere search, I will come to that. But before that, the third one is multi-city trips, right? The idea of that is if you go from point A to point B uh, and you pay X amount, it would be cheaper to do A plus B plus C, and the combined value will not be more than A plus B and B plus C combined, right? That is multi-city trips. Now coming to the anywhere, everywhere search I was talking about, that is something which you can do again in most websites. I know Kayak does that. I know Kiwi does that. I know Skyscanner does that. Uh, Kiwi calls this anywhere search. I think Kayak calls it everywhere search. One and the same thing. The idea is that uh, let's say my hometown is Mumbai, and I say I want to travel anywhere, anywhere at any time. Show me deals, and the platform will start giving you the cheapest prices to go to, that destination. Sorry, not to that destination, to any destination, and that opens up your mind about, oh, I didn't know I could fly to Japan for this low a price. Oh, I didn't know Maldives was this cheap, So things like that. You will start getting ideas because of the anywhere or everywhere search. Uh, and the final one you see in my list here is reverse city search, right? Reverse city search, what do I mean by that? Is let's say I want to go to Jordan. Jordan is one of my favorite countries. I love that country so much. I've been there twice now. I've spent almost a whole month across that country, and Amman is one of my favorite cities. So, casually, I was just looking at, okay, let's see from Amman if I have to go somewhere else, what are the prices? And do you see this amazing thing here? If I was already in Amman, the return flights to Italy, to Rome, are just 5,000 rupees. So imagine the beautiful thing here. You've planned India to Jordan, but now if you combine India and Jordan and Italy, the combined price is going to be so much cheaper. It will just feel like a bonus. It will feel like, going for an experience within Jordan. And I specifically say that this route is a very, very nice, very, very interesting route, is because there are a lot of Roman ruins, so Rome already has its own Fora Romani, the Roman Forum, which is these abandoned, Roman architecture back from, the time of Renaissance. Um, and the interesting thing I found in Jordan, not Amman specifically, but a city close to Amman, about half an hour from there, called Jerash. Now, Jerash, surprisingly, has better Roman ruins than Rome itself. Um, so, if you are into architecture, if you are into history, if you are into photography, or seeking that kind of cultural experience, you will be amazed by combining this trip for Jordan plus Italy and getting a superb deal out of this, and also looking at the Roman ruins from that time. So that finishes the flights part of it. I hope all of these tips make sense for you. If you want to take a screenshot, I will wait here for a second. If you have any questions, you can leave them for me or ask me in the end. But for now, I will continue with your permission. The next thing is money. Perhaps one of the most critical parts of your travel. It is what enables us to travel. So there are different things you can do in terms of how do you, plan, or how do you keep your money safe at the same time optimize your money, right? Uh, Most countries, when you travel abroad, the rupee doesn't do that great. We are currently, the rupee is falling, so it is very important for us to be very, very careful with the way we spend money. So there are multiple things. So I will start with the cards part first, right? So there are different types of cards. There are credit cards, there are travel cards, and then there are prepaid forex cards. I'm not even going to mention debit cards because very recently, I think just 2 days ago, uh, I banked with ICICI Bank, and they sent me an email saying that we have raised the price for um, the when you do the conversion from rupee to whatever currency you are going to, from 1% to 3.5%. So forget about debit cards. Debit cards are just a terrible idea when you are traveling abroad. Even if you have an international debit card, don't use it, is my suggestion. Keep it with you only as your last resort. If you have nothing else left, and or if things go wrong and that is the only card you have, that can save you. In order of priority, I would say the best one would be a prepaid forex card, especially with the falling rupee. It is a very, very important asset to have. And let me give you an example here of why it can be a big boon, right? What is a prepaid forex card? It is when you can go to the bank. In my case, it was ICICI Bank, and I can go to them and tell them that, hey, I am traveling to so and so country, and I need a US dollar paying forex card. So they will say, okay, you deposit, let's say if you're depositing 1 lakh rupees and the current rate is, let's assume it is almost 100 rupees right now. I will basically get $1,000 on my card, right? So the advantage is that if the rupee falls further, guess what? I will actually make more money out of this because I got the dollar at a cheaper rate. And if I'm this makes more sense when you're traveling long term. So in my case, like I said, when I was traveling to South America in the year 2008 and 9, I had sold some of my stocks, my investments, and bought a prepaid forex card. Now, this was not planned. This was all pure luck. So what happened was the rupee had fallen, the dollar had gone up, and by doing nothing, I basically made 30% gains just because I was holding dollars on the prepaid card and I stayed there longer, right? So it added to my travel budget basically. It just gave me a bigger budget. Then coming to the travel cards. Now the travel cards are also a good thing. So you may have heard of Scapia, Fi, um, what else is there? Neo. So multiple such cards are there from different banks, and they are also a good thing to have. But the negative there is that you will have dynamic pricing there. So as the rupee or a dollar fluctuates, the pricing will change there. But the advantage of having a travel card or even a prepaid forex card is that anybody back home, let's say you run out of money while you're traveling and you have only put like let's say $1,000 in your card, whether it's a travel card or whether it's a prepaid forex card, anybody back home, your parents, your siblings, your partner can top it up from your own bank account. So you can leave documents with them which allow them the signatory rights to be, uh, transferring the money from your own account into your own prepaid forex card or a travel card. And then coming to the first card which I mentioned is the credit cards. Now, you know what? Despite telling you all these advantages, lately I have been using credit cards, and I will tell you the only reason I'm doing this is because look, we are not some big crorepati's. I don't know who I'm talking to here, but if you are, then this is not for you. But if you are a commoner just like me, then you will understand that we are not talking big amounts here. So we are talking about thousands or lakhs. So if you spend in lakhs, really speaking, if you don't have to do penny pinching there, and you don't have to think about how much is my conversion rate in the prepaid forex card versus travel versus credit card. So I use mostly credit cards just because it gives me points, right? And these points can be translated into rewards, and I can buy more travel with the same things. So while I told you that prepaid forex is better, followed by travel card, followed by credit card, I'm myself not following my own advice, and I currently use credit cards myself. So you figure out what works best for you. But if I were to advise other people, I would say go with prepaid forex card first, then travel card, then credit card. As we are speaking, I'm getting a Swiggy credit card call. I just canceled that. Then my next advice to you is please avoid ATMs as much as possible. They are a boon, when you really need cash. But because of the conversion charges, so for example, in this scenario here, you see something here called Coin Cloud. Now that might be the provider there. Now there is Coin Cloud, then there is the local bank there, and then there is your home bank back here in India. All three will have commissions of their own, and you will use a lot of money in those conversions. So as much as possible, please avoid using ATMs when you're traveling internationally. If you must, it's still an advantage. But as much as possible, I would say carry forex from home. Go to your travel agent, go to somebody who deals in foreign exchange, and always carry some emergency dollars with you. Now, how much should you carry is always a question which people ask, and I say that I would say keep depend on how much you're comfortable carrying, but per person also depend on which continent you go to. But the general rule is please at least have $100 per person on you at all times. In the worst case scenario, you may lose it, it might get stolen or whatever, but it is still better to have it on you because if the card stop working, if something gets lost, you don't have to keep this in your pocket. So I say spread your money across for safety, right? What do I mean by spread your money? Uh, Even right now, I'm wearing uh, trousers which have like 6 pockets. Yeah, so you can distribute your cash across different pockets when you're traveling. You can give some to your partner, some to your kids, some to your friends, whoever you're traveling with. Each person should carry at least $100 with you as a literally only as backup cash. And the final one is, I think it's self-explanatory. Please do not ever carry any bling, any jewelry, which is visible, which will make you an easy target, right? You can wear fake jewelry, but that also is avoidable. Just carry, anybody who's into accessorizing, please carry things which look good on you, but not necessarily the ones which look expensive. Now I will move on to the next part of the access part of the ASE framework, which I'm talking about. Perhaps a very challenging and critical part for a lot of people, including me. I will come to my own stories. With visas, how do you handle visas? So one of the easiest answers is first ensure that you have the power visas. What are power visas? The US visa, the Schengen visa, and the UK visa. If you have any of these valid visas on you, in fact, I should add even the Japan visa, the Canada visa, the UAE visa. Some of these having these valid visas can open up multiple countries for you. But these three are the most powerful, as you may already know. So a lot of people go for a US visa just because it opens up almost 50 countries, 50 countries, right? Almost all of Central America, a bunch of countries in South America, like Peru, like Colombia, they open up. So it just makes life much easier for you if you're doing multiple countries in one trip. The next important thing is your travel history. Now, when it comes to travel history, the next slide is going to help you with that. So I will delve into that later. But it is very, very important, especially if you're going to the West, which is Europe or the US or Canada. Not so much in the South American region, but these Western countries, it is always better to have some travel history, even if it is Asian countries, even if it is traveling to countries near you. Please have some travel history on you before going to any of these uh, bigger countries, so to say. Then coming to the cover letter. Now, you might think that why is a cover letter even asked, right? Is it important? Now, you know, this is something which I will say that cover letter is not just important, it is also something where you should be the most honest. Don't ever lie in your cover letter. Make sure that you say that this is exactly what you're planning to do. And you know, uh, like for an example, when I went to Brazil in 2008, my cover letter said that, "Hi, I'm so and so. This is my passport number, and I want to visit your beautiful country with my camera." Now, when the ladies who were reading my cover letter in front of me read that, they kind of laughed and they were like, "With your camera? What do you mean?" But I meant it. I meant it in all honestness that I love photography, and therefore I really think that that continent is an amazing continent from whatever I have seen of it, and I would love to go there and explore it with and see it with my third eye, not just two eyes, but my third eye, which is the camera, the lens. So you can be that candid and that honest with your cover letter. You don't have to be super professional, super, formal in your cover letter. That's my advice. But if somebody else says something else and they say, no, no, you have to be formal, be a judge of your own, decide for yourself there. But my personal advice is just be candid, be honest with your cover letter. And perhaps the most important part is the financial proof. Now, financial proof, people usually ask, okay, if I'm going for 10 days in Europe, how much money do I need? You don't need lakhs, but the more money you show, the better it is, obviously. Um, on an average, now, when I come to my own stories, you will find this financial proof thing very funny. So let me park this for now. I'll continue, and we'll come to the financial proof part later on. That was a cue for the next question. Uh, can we have the next poll happening here, which is about which countries are visa free for Indians? I'm not able to see the screen. Pizaina, are you running the poll?
Yep, I'm just
Oh,
running
okay.
through. Just give
Okay.
me a moment.
Sure, sure. So my question is that which of these countries do you think are visa free for Indians? You can right now this is a single choice, but let's see how many of you get the right answers. There may be multiple right answers in this. Do you think Thailand is visa free? Do you think Maldives is visa free? Do you think Nepal is visa free? And do you think South Africa is visa free for Indians? Has everyone answered? Don't think too much. Just give me your guess. This is not an examination, so just feel free to answer whatever you feel is right. Yeah, has everyone answered? Husaina, can we have the results?
Sure.
Okay, so 23% people have said Thailand, 6% people have said Maldives, 69% people have said Nepal, and 2% people have said South Africa. Now, I'm going to surprise you with the answer. You're all right. Each one of you is correct. All of these countries, Thailand, Maldives, Nepal, and surprisingly, South Africa is also, which is recently opened up to Indians. These are all visa free for Indians. You can go there without a visa. I can say this with assured, with guarantee, with assured information because two of my travel blogger friends have recently visited there, and I know for a fact that they have been there without a visa, without a prior visa. Yeah, so all of you are right. Congratulations on getting your answers right. Now, I will tell you that these are the easy countries that you can start off. The reason I'm giving you this list is because if you have never traveled internationally, it is for those. I think there were 30% people who had not traveled internationally, if I remember the data correctly. For you to start traveling internationally, all of these countries are amazing, and they are also budget countries. I would say Bhutan, Nepal, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Sri Lanka. They're all easily accessible. Um, visa free. All of them are visa free, surprisingly. Sorry, I will correct myself. Vietnam is not visa free. Vietnam will require an approval there, which is called an ETA, and you have to just apply for it. It's not too expensive, so you can just get that done also. And no matter who tells you, even if it is me, even if it is some pro expert, even if it is AI telling you that this country is visa free, don't listen to them blindly. Please do your own research because these rules always keep changing. For example, Thailand is currently considering canceling the visa free advantage that they have given to all the countries, including India. And very soon they may stop doing that. So always be on the lookout and always keep checking the official announcements, um, for understanding whether this country which you are going to is visa free or not. Otherwise, you may have to apply for the visa. So, for example, even when Thailand was visa free and I had gone there, I had applied for a visa. And the reason was very simple that the time that I had gone, the visa free part was only for 15 days, 15 days, and I wanted to stay there for a whole month. This was, I think, in 2018 when I had gone there around December, and I spent all of December there. I brought in the new year in Thailand. So despite it being visa free, I applied for the visa. It's not a big challenge. It's not that expensive to just get those visas. And the more tapas, the more stamps that you have on your passport, the easier, the bigger or the more expensive countries becomes in terms of access for you. That was the reason of telling you that access to these countries like the US, Canada, Europe will become much easier when you have traveled to the other countries which are nearer to us. Now, let me tell you one thing, okay? A lot of people, including some of my friends who are, like, in fact, the richest person who I know has also been rejected a visa. Yeah, he was rejected a Schengen visa. So, if any of your visa is rejected, please don't take it personally. Please don't think that this is the end of the world. You know, something is wrong with you. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. Sometimes it is just the interviewer or the person who's probably not in a good mood or they felt something was wrong in the application, which even you would have not guessed. It might be their mood. There are a lot of things. So with my own story, I will just tell you two quick stories. With the US, I used to work in Microsoft, which is a US company, and they were sending me to Vegas for a conference. But guess what? I was rejected. They did not give me a visa. And this Although the official statement said you should not ask the officer why you were denied a visa, I still asked anyway because I had nothing to lose. I had already gotten my visa rejected. And the gentleman told me that if you don't have strong roots with your country, which I found to be quite a rude thing to say to somebody who loves his country, and and the fact that I was single. So I didn't understand that. But then some people will have some preconceptions or misconceptions about where you come from. So don't take it personally. I took it personally at that time. I was very, very angry. So I took that anger and I turned it around. The next time I applied for the US visa, I said, you know what? Okay, I'm not in your country right now, but while you're in my country, I looked at all the rules. And one of the rules said that if you're applying for a US visa in India, you can apply to give the interview in your mother tongue. And my mother tongue is Marathi. So I was like, I'm going to go for a Marathi interview because right now they're in my country. I'm not in their country. So let's do a Marathi interview. And guess what? I got the visa. I don't think it was because of speaking in Marathi, but it was genuinely, I was going for my best friend's wedding. So part of the reason I was very stubborn that, if they reject this visa, I'm never going back to that country was because I was going for my best friend's wedding. And if they would not allow me to do that, I wouldn't care about going to the country ever again. But thankfully, I did get that visa. And that was my fun US visa story. And my UK visa story was also perhaps me being a fool, honestly, because like I was mentioning earlier about, so I said that I'm going to come back up to you about the whole financial proof part. And this was me being silly there because I think I had shown like 20,000 rupees in my bank account when I was applying for a UK visa, which was an absolutely disastrous thing to do because that probably is not even enough for 2 days in London. So, but my assumption was, hey, I am a salaried employee. At that time, I was a salaried employee, and I was like, at the end of the month, I'm going to get a salary, which will be enough for those 10 days in London or wherever I'm going in the UK. But that was really stupid of me. It was, don't make that mistake. I have made that mistake. Please don't make that mistake. Please don't be over smart like I was. Be prepared with your documentation, have enough finances, show them enough proof so that they are convinced that you're going to come back to your country and not stay in their country illegally. That's all we look for, basically. Yeah, with that, I will move on from here. Next is the packing part. Now, you might think that this is not an important thing to talk about while we're discussing this, but trust me, it can save you a lot of money. So I usually travel with zero, as much as possible, I travel with zero check-in bags, which means there are no check-in bags waiting for me, even if I'm traveling internationally. So I have done this I have not done this in South America because I had gone there for a really, really long time. So I did have one check-in bag there, but that too was a big backpack. But I have done Europe, I have done Thailand, um, I have done, yeah, in fact, Europe twice I have done with just with zero check-in bags, with only cabin bags. And the reason for that is because, firstly, I feel that less stuff means more freedom. It allows you to be, much more comfortable, not carrying around luggage everywhere. Especially in some cities in Europe, you have, cobblestone roads there, which makes it extremely difficult to carry your luggage, even if it has those wheels and casters. So please pack for reality. That's the first point. Check what kind of grounds are going to be there in the countries that you're going to go to. If it's going to be a lot of walk, for example, Amman, one of my favorite cities in Jordan, there is a lot of walking. There are a lot of stairs. You have to climb up and down quite a lot. So if you have heavy luggage and suitcases, it's going to make your life miserable there. So pack as light as possible. And then you'll be like, well, then how do I crack it? How do I, how can I have only 5 pairs of clothes and still manage in cold countries? The answer is pretty simple here, layers, right? So when it gets cold, just layer up, wear, multiple clothes, whether it's a jacket, a sweater, a shirt, all of that comes on together. Uh, and in very cold temperatures, in sub-zero temperatures, you'll also need thermal innerwear. So all of that can be packed light if you really want to. And the ultimate solution is laundromats, right? Laundries exist in most places, and I have seen better laundries. In fact, I don't understand why India does not have a lot of laundromats. We can have a lot of laundromats across Europe, across Japan, across the US. I had zero problems with laundry, and it is not as expensive as you think. It is cheaper to do laundry in these countries than to carry a lot of clothes, pay more for luggage, uh, not just in money, but also in terms of your own energy. So please avoid carrying excessive clothing. Plus, you will also find some special fares, which are cabin fare, cabin luggage only fares, especially in Europe. So if you have zero check-in bags, you will get some really amazing deals as low as like $1 and $5, which is insane for us Indians to even think about. Now coming to the next part of the ASE framework, we've completed the access part. Now coming to stay. And my only advice on the stay part of your travel experience is that remember that hotels are not the trip. What do I mean by that? Don't make hotels your entire part or majority part of your travels. Yeah. Um, so sorry for the interruption. Yeah. Yeah. So hotels are not the trip. So remember that part. What I mean by that is try and keep hotels which are not unnecessarily expensive so you can spend more on experiences. Uh, I think I'm running a little behind time, so I'm going to try and be a little more faster. Uh, I Please try to slow me down or ask me to, hasten my pace if required there, Zaina. I may lose a track of time there while I'm reading this out. So these are the platforms which I highly, highly, highly recommend, and each of them have their advantages in different ways. So if you are just starting traveling, I would highly recommend, not just if you're starting traveling, couch surfing is a wonderful way you can travel around the world, spending 0 rupees, spending absolutely no money, because it's a hospitality exchange where people host you in their own homes. It's think of it as Airbnb, but you're not paying for the Airbnb, right? So that is one. I have been asked to go a little faster, so I will make this a little quick, quicker pace. Then there is home exchange, where you pay, I think, 7 to 8,000 rupees per year, and you can do a couch surfing kind of experience where you're exchanging homes. YHA India is Youth Hostel Association of India. I would highly recommend joining this. It has a very minuscule charge. I think the lifetime cost is around 2,000 rupees. But it's a wonderful association which is pan India, and they have tied up with Hosteling International. So even internationally, you will get discounts up to 10% in hostels all around the world. Plus, you also discover a lot of interesting trips. If you're a solo traveler and you want to travel with a bunch of other solo travelers, then YHA India is perhaps one of the best uh, and the cheapest experiences that you can go for. Airbnb, you already are familiar with, but I'm giving you all the options possible here. Don't look at only hotels. WOOF, which you see here, WWOOF, is also very interesting if you like farming. This is a hospitality exchange where you get to stay for free in exchange for your efforts at somebody's farm. So if you like farming or want to learn farming like me, then you should be a part of WWOOF. WOOF. It's called WOOF in short. I think I'm going really slow, so I'm going to make things a little faster now. If you don't understand anything or you want me to come back to any slide, just let me know and I will repeat that. Um, I'm sorry, some things are broken here, but if I remember them correctly, this is the experience part now, which is what do you do when you go to a when you go to a place, right? The one which is missing here is Klook, Klook. Now, Klook is perhaps my favorite part for discovering experiences. I found some great experiences through it when I was in Japan. So there is Klook, there is Reddit forums, there is again Couchsurfing, which has forums, there is Airbnb, and this was Expedia, if I'm not wrong. So Expedia, Airbnb, Meetup.com, all these are great platforms for discovering different experiences. But while I'm giving you all these tips, remember that the best moments are usually unplanned ones. You may get best advice from somebody in a cafe where you are visiting, or somebody who's, at the hotel or the hostel you're staying, and they might give you a great idea. So don't stick to only these platforms. Listen to people more often. Safety. I'm sorry, some of my images are breaking. I think I did not sync that content. My apologies for that. But to give you an idea, this was an image of Preeti Zinta sitting here. If all of you are familiar with the movie Dil Chahta Hai, you may remember that there is a scene of, she's sitting in this deserted platform and there is a vagabond there who approaches her and she's scared. And then all of a sudden, Amir Khan walks in and, we think he's going to go and hit him. But the reason I'm telling you about this slide here about safety, that confidence beats paranoia, and डर के आगे जीत है, is that if you remember the scene, Amir Khan doesn't go and hit that guy. He goes and hugs him, right? And that's exactly what I, inspired by Amir Khan, I actually did that when I was once approached by a similar kind of a vagabond in São Paulo in Brazil. And I think I offered him chocolate and he was just happy. He smiled and he walked off. So I didn't feel threatened at all. So that is one safety tip I'm going to give you here. Um, in the first 24 hours, wherever you are, any new place you go to, my only advice to you is don't try to conquer the entire city on day one. Don't try to do too many things, especially if you are traveling to high altitude places. Please rest, please acclimatize so that your body is used to that elevation. One of my close friends had, uh, when he was in his 30s, had serious palpitation and problems with his breathing when he visited Bhutan on my suggestion, because I had gone to Bhutan with my mom and she was fine. But surprisingly, he probably went there without any acclimatization, and that caused him respiratory issues, which could have led to a cardiac arrest as well. So please, on day one, don't try to do too many things. Walk around slowly. Try to use public transport so that you are used to and you are familiar with the environment there. Um, Tourist versus traveler kind of a thing. This slide is to inspire you to be more of a traveler than a tourist. A tourist would typically book a hotel first. A traveler would first think about the neighborhood first. Why do I say a neighborhood is more important than if you are a Hilton person or a Taj person? Nothing against that; they may be great, but I would suggest going for the neighborhood first. What I mean by that is I'll give you an example which you all will understand. In Goa itself, for example, right? If I want to party, I will probably be in the Anjuna and Vagator and Baga area. If I have to go with my family, I will probably stick to Baga Kalampur. If I have to go with my friends, I will probably go to the extreme north or extreme south beaches of Goa. Um, right. So that's what I mean by go by first think of the neighborhood. So figure out what is your intent, why are you traveling there, and then figure out what neighborhood makes more sense for you. A tourist will typically overplan, try to do too many things, but a traveler will leave some room for discovery, right? So try and keep some time, some extra time, which where you just surprise yourself. I don't know what I'm going to do today, kind of experience, and you might experience the best days in those days when you have not planned them. A tourist will visit only landmarks, whereas a traveler will explore local culture. Try to meet local people. There are multiple platforms. If you like learning languages, I will tell you that there are two websites which are communities where you can go and interact with people and learn their language. For example, if I'm going to Brazil, I now speak Spanish, Portuguese, German, French because I love exploring culture and meeting those locals there. And there are these language exchange meetups that happen. So I have gone for these in Rio de Janeiro. I have gone for these in Bangkok. I've gone for it in Buenos Aires in Argentina, where you then meet other people. You practice Spanish. You can teach them Hindi or Marathi or any of the Indian languages that we can teach them, and they teach you their language. So there are two such platforms. One is called Blabla, and one is called Mundolingo. Yeah, so Mundolingo, Mundolingo, and Blabla language exchange. So these two are great communities which you can be a part of. Um, Coming to the next question, please help me out here again, Zaira, with the question.
Yes.
What's your ultimate dream destination?
Okay, I'll just launch the poll.
Okay, thank you. Zaira has given me some 10 extra minutes. So I hope, as long as all of you are interested, is it okay if we extend this by another 10 minutes or so, so that I can leave you with more information and that helps you there.
Well, we have no issues. Please take your time.
Thank you so
Go
much.
ahead.
It's kind of you. So, what I would love to hear about all of you now from you. What is your ultimate dream destination currently? It can keep changing all. Before going to Brazil, I always had a picture of Brazil in front of me on my desk. This was back in like 2006 or 7, and 5 or 6 rather. And then 2008, I made it happen. Okay. Oh, I think this is the second question. Yeah. What's your dream destination? Please don't think too much, folks, because we don't have too much time. So that we can move on with this. But I would love to just read your answers. Can we end the poll now so that we can move on? All right. What are the results? Should I do stop sharing here? Designer, I will not interfere in this. So you please launch the results.
Sure.
I have to share my screen actually. So
Oh, for the answers. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so
Okay, I would love to see that when I'm stopping this. Just one here. Oops.
hi Kausal, I'm not able to share. We can move forward.
Okay, okay. Okay, fine. Or if you were able to see them, can you name a few answers so that I
Yeah,
can
I
just
can do. I can do.
yeah.
Just hold on.
Uh,
So people have voted United States, New Zealand, Japan, Italy, Machu Picchu, US, Switzerland, Paris, Europe trip,
Wonderful,
again
wonderful.
France and Norway,
Okay,
Vegas.
wonderful answers. Wonderful
Yeah.
answers. So among these, the places that I have been to almost all these places. I have not been to France, and I have not been to one of the other European countries. But if you have any other questions about these destinations, please feel free to ask me these questions in the end. But right now, let me quickly keep moving so that we are not behind time. Um, Once again, my apologies. I have broken images here, but
no worries.
I'm just going to leave you with some more ideas on uncommon and hidden destinations that I found to be amazing. So Gokarna, I know Gokarna is now it is no longer hidden, but once upon a time it was pristine. It still is pristine, and if you're bored with Goa, Gokarna is still an amazing, amazing destination, both from a religious tourism as well as just a natural beauty perspective. What a wonderful destination! Odisha, Dambuk in Arunachal was also an amazing discovery. Bastar in Chhattisgarh. I love the whole tribal culture there. The food, the culture, the architecture, all of that was just amazing. I would love to go back to Bastar, to Dambu, Gokarna. I want to go to Odisha, so Odisha is my dream destination. Um, and then inland Goa. So the reason I put Goa here is because I think most people stick to Goa only on the coast, but there is a whole different world. And again, feel free to connect with me on any information or help you need on Goa. I can give you some incredible ways to explore Goa in different perspectives and different ways. I had kept some space here to ask you about your own ideas here, but let's now skip that because we don't have too much time. Um, Internationally, these were the destinations that I found to be hatke or different, or they were hidden to me at least. In fact, one of them I list out here, a country called San Marino. Now, this is a country which I had no idea even existed. This was a country which is hidden inside of Italy, and the reason I went there was because it was crazy hot in August in Italy, and I was trying to escape the heat. And then I discovered that why is there a hole inside of Italy? And then I realized, and I zoomed in on Google Maps, and I realized there's a country called San Marino, which is one of now has become one of my favorite destinations. And besides that, I would say that Jordan, like I said, one of my favorite countries. Not a lot of people go there. I would highly recommend this country. South of Maldives. Now, a lot of people have gone to Maldives, have usually gone to Malé and then the islands around it. But I was lucky to, I have done south of Maldives. The area is called Addu, and the airport is called Gan, Gan. You will find some incredible flight deals to this place, and it is beautiful, untouched, and lots to do there. I spent 40,000 rupees exploring Addu and that region for 6 days, including flights. The flight, stay, experiences, food, everything was 40,000 rupees. This was in 2018. Svalbard is also one of my favorite destinations. It is the northernmost place that you can go to in the whole world, and the northernmost city in the whole world. It's a part of Europe, but it's an island which is above all of Europe. It is technically part of Norway and one of the most incredible and magical places that I've seen in my life. Colombia is, I will speak about Colombia a little later if we have time, but Colombia is one of my dearest countries. I spent 4 months across this country, despite people thinking that it's a dangerous country. I have
Sorry
the
to
most
interrupt you, sir.
incredible
Sir, we can
experiences. Yeah.
cover each and every topic. There's no worries. So people will be there and they can listen to the session. And also we are recording. So we'll provide the
Okay.
recording to each and every people and the kind that we
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I will not make it too fast then. I will just
yeah,
go with my
sure.
normal pace. Thank you for that, Ankit. And then in Japan, I found this place called Uji, which was again something which I had not planned for, but it has now become one of my favorite places to visit in Japan. It's a small little town. It is touristy, but not over touristy. Um, Whenever you're planning Japan, definitely have Uji as part of it. And the other one I'm going to speak about that is a place called Ikoma in Japan. Um, Colombia is very close to my heart. Jordan is very close to my heart. Brazil is very close to my heart. But Brazil is not a secret destination. Um, I don't know if I should talk about Goa in detail now, just because I would rather focus on the other slides now. But Goa, like I said, it started for me in, I first came to Goa in 2004, but 2007, I did multiple trips here, fell in love with this place. 2010, I started working from here as a digital nomad. The way people started after COVID, I have been doing this since that time. Um, and it has really just, it was a turning point in my life because I came here for learning boxing, for getting fitter, while working remotely and living a slower, good quality life. I'm still doing that. So I'm extremely privileged and, happy that I'm able to do that even now with my mom here. My mom stays with me here. I will not get too much into detail about Goa because I'm sure all of us have enough information about Goa. But coming to Ikoma in Japan, now this is a place I would have never discovered. Nobody talks about this place. It's a small little town which is actually meant for kids. Well, not meant for kids. It has, when you go to the hilltop there is this whole theme park there. And that's why most people go there. So while I was in the train from Nara, which is a deer park, it's known for the deer in Japan. From Nara, I was going to Osaka. And I heard the announcement that you should get down here if you want to take the ropeway. Now, the moment I heard that, I was curious, what kind of ropeway do they have here? So I decided that I was going to come back. So while I was coming back um, from Osaka to Nara, I decided that I'm going to get down there and explore what it is. And let me tell you that this was one of the most incredible secret finds, if I may, that I've found in Japan. Not something which most people will tell you to visit, that you have to visit. But if you're a kid at heart like me, or if you have kids of your own, you should definitely visit Ikoma. You will have a wonderful time there. I have not put images here, but you have like a toy train to go up there. You can also walk up the entire hill. Very easy to do that. I had one of the most amazing pizzas with a wonderful view there, just sitting there. And interestingly, it was a vegetarian uh, place because the owner had visited India and she, found it very fascinating and she was into Buddhism and she decided that she's going to just be a vegetarian. So interestingly, so I eat everything, but I was surprised to find a vegetarian place at the top of a place which I had never even heard of in Japan. Colombia, I think I will need a separate session, Ankit, only about Colombia because
Sure,
this is a
sure.
country
We
I
will
can
do.
keep talking on and on about Colombia. It's an amazing country. Do not listen to people when they say that it's a dangerous place. Don't go by the idea of narcos, because narcos has given you a terrible idea of what Colombia is. It's almost like seeing Slumdog Millionaire and thinking Pura India SIA, right? It's not only poverty, it's not only people in misery. Um, this is a place where the humanity, the culture, the food, everything was incredible for me. The nature, like imagine these. These are, if I'm not wrong, these are 300 feet tall palm trees. Imagine seeing them. Like you will be a mini creature here, standing and looking at this in awe. The Cocora Valley in the coffee zone of Colombia. Medellin remains one of my favorite cities in the whole world. I spent a whole month in this city. I spent a whole month in Bogota. And then I've spent 2 months across the country. I spent 10 days in Cartagena, also a spectacular city. Uh, so, they had a tagline. The Tourism Board of Colombia once had a tagline saying that uh, el solo riesgo es que no quieres. I will just put it in English. The only risk might be wanting to stay back, right? That was their tagline because Colombia is usually associated with being a risky place. This, and I agree with their tagline that the only risk when you go to this country might be that you might want to stay there and not come back. It's a wonderful country. Um, in Like I was mentioning, in 2018, I did an entire month in Bangkok. And the reason I put this slide is because this will help you look at destinations and places and your own life and even travel in a different perspective. Now, Bangkok is a city where people don't stay for too long. It's usually a place where it's like a tourist coming to India and they're not going to want to stay in Bombay, for example, right? But even Bombay has incredible things to do. Similarly, in Bangkok, I stayed for a whole month and I absolutely enjoyed this city. It has so much of, you know, rich, deep culture, so many ways to get around the city. I love this city so much that I wish my home city of Bombay was like Bangkok. So I call Bangkok my dream Bombay. If Bombay ever becomes like Bangkok, it would become an amazing city. So, that's how slowing down in a city can help you just relook and change your perspective on life, on lifestyle, and on travel overall. Yeah. It really helped me also because just before this, about 2 years before this, I had an accident and I had a ligament injury, and it really helped me recuperate. I started running here after the entire month that I was there. I was trying to get back to running. So it really helped me recover and get back from that mode of shrunken, uh, being a shrunken person to, going back and embracing life. So it really healed me in a lot of ways that way. Now I'm going to go a little deeper about, these are the deeper aspects of travel. So, for me, travel has taught me a lot of things. Among other things, it teaches you patience, it teaches you empathy, adaptability, such an important, characteristic to have as a human being, to be able to adapt to changing environments all the time. The war, the pandemic, all these things have forced us to become adaptable, but travel gives you this in a fun way, right? So that way, it can become a great teacher in its own way. And above all, it teaches you confidence. You will be more confident in life, in at work, in relationships, in so many aspects. Just exposing yourself to different types of cultures, different kinds of people, different languages. Um, so I have put a quote there that, every wrinkle, every smile, every weathered gaze holds generations of stories waiting to be discovered. It's just about you. You need to get out there and look at people in a different way when you travel. So every journey, in a way, changes us. We leave as one person and then we come back as another person. It kind of augments who you are. It shapes, it changes the fabric of your personality. It has to me, so I can say this with confidence. Uh, वो सब तो ठीक है. All that sounds very rosy and beautiful, but now some real talk, right? There can be there can be problems and there can be errors and there can be imperfect experiences like missed trains. There can be lost luggage. There can be rain when you don't want rain. There can be visa stress before you even start traveling. But you know what? All that is fine. We all make mistakes. So this is uh, this is coming to the next, or perhaps my final question, actually my penultimate question. So I have one more question after this. Have you ever made any travel mistakes? I would love to hear you read your answers here. I think we'll still have the challenge again of having answers not being shown here, and maybe Ankit and Designer can help me with the answers. What's been your biggest travel mistake? I can answer one. One of my mistakes was when I was in Europe. They follow the we follow MMDDYY format, and they follow the DD. Sorry, we follow DDMMYY format, but they follow the MMDDYY format. So I once booked tickets for a flight, which was you know 4/6, and I thought I was booking for June, but it was April or something like that, and it was a disaster. I lost about $100 in that, but it led to a fun experience after that. So not all mistakes are terrible mistakes. Don't worry. Okay, we have 6 answers. Can we end this and then check some interesting answers there? Very curious to see your answers.
Yeah. So Bashnoi is saying not booking return ticket, just went with flow after IRCT website got crashed. So,
Oh,
and then one more guy said, do not travel when the opportunity to travel present itself. And
mhm.
one is insurance, another one a heavy bag on track, and then lost sleeping pillow.
Oh, very important. Uh-oh. So yeah, we all make mistakes. Don't worry. All these things are fine. Speaking of insurance, I mean, I know I'm talking to an Ethica audience here. All of you know the importance of insurance. But sometimes the smartest and the most seasoned travelers, one of my travel blogger friends, Shivya Nath, you may have all heard of her. We were both traveling to Thailand together for a travel blogger conference, and we were sitting together, we were chatting, and I was like, you know what? I have taken the whole 1 year insurance, which is valid for the entire year because I'm going to be traveling multiple countries. And then she just looks at me and smiles and she says, "Kaushal, I haven't booked insurance for this trip." And she said, "Thank you for reminding me about this." And she booked her insurance right there and then. So, like what I'm trying to tell you here is that the biggest the most frequent travelers and the most seasoned travelers also sometimes make these mistakes. But insurance is not a mistake most people should make. Please always get insurance. It can be a make or break situation. We'll come to this part later again. But thank you for sharing your answers. Um, like I was saying, don't worry for the mistakes you make. Some mistakes will give you different paths, will show you different ways of navigating life, navigating travel. Remember that smart travelers always adapt, and sometimes strangers can, become the most unexpected guides to hidden worlds and show you places you never imagined. For example, I'm showing you an image. This is an sorry, I didn't have a photo of this gentleman, so I have an AI generated image here. My apologies for that. But this was to remind me of this amazing gentleman. He was probably in his 80s or 90s and old. He felt like my own nana or dada, like my own grandfather. This was when I was just entering from Ecuador into Colombia on road back in 2008, when it was supposed to be dangerous. And then this old man, I was trying to understand at that time there was no internet, remember. We didn't have smartphones. We had these small, tiny little phones. And I had like a copy of a Lonely Planet magazine, which was this fat. So I was just trying to understand where do I go for bus to this next destination of mine called Ipiales, which is a beautiful, beautiful location. And I didn't speak Spanish back then. Now I do. Even if I did speak Spanish, he would not understand because he was an indigenous person, the original inhabitants of Colombia and Ecuador. Uh, he didn't even speak Spanish. He spoke the native language called Quechua. So we were both with gestures and just looking at each other, trying to explain what we were trying to do. And I was like, EPLS, Las Lajas Cathedral, that's a cathedral I had to go to. And he kind of nodded, he understood. He just took my hand, and just the way our own, grandfather would take us, he took me to the bus stop, he dropped me there himself. and I was on the right path. So, sometimes these experiences are wonderful, even if you sometimes don't know what you're doing or make mistakes. So, be open to these experiences. Yeah, so I had a special slide for travel insurance. And this is where I was going to talk about the Bolshevia incident, but now you know the story. So prepare for smooth travel, but embrace anything that might go wrong after that. Don't worry. But that does not mean you don't prepare. So always, 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 even though you are all associated with Ethica and you know the importance of insurance, please always, always ensure that you are insured when you're traveling, especially internationally. Um, I will say I will kind of wrap up and say that the biggest mistake you can probably make in your travels or about traveling is waiting forever to travel. So go now, like, go YOLO. At the same time, yes, you have to take care of your responsibilities and your priorities, but don't forget to make travel one of your priorities at least. Don't wait forever. That's all I will say. Um, some of you might ask me that, what, all all this sounds very fancy and easy for you to say, but I don't currently have the time or I don't have the finances right now to travel internationally or even domestically. And to that, my simple answers here are consider these things. Right? These are frames, these are my own photographs, which I have taken in my home city in Bombay. And even today, these are photos I have taken last month, literally. All of them are last month. Uh, Even today, I try to look at my own city from a different perspective and look at the beauty in that city. Um, look at it culturally, look at it from a foodie perspective, look at it from an architecture perspective. There is so much to discover within our own backyard. That is what I mean by backyard tourism. Try weekend trips, nearby trips. Try slow travel. Go to a place and stay there longer. It is usually cheaper to do that. Explore nearby countries. That's how you start small. So you don't have to worry about going big. But while you start small, I would say eventually you must dream big. And these are two people I'm going to leave you with as inspiration. These are both of them are friends. I feel privileged to call them my friends, industry friends, of course, and they are wonderful people. Shubham is a 24-year-old kid from a small town in Bihar, and what I'm amazed by is the fact that he has traveled to every country in the world. Not just him, even Ravi. So Ravi Garu, he's a Telugu traveler, and he has also been to every country in the world. But among these two, I will still say that I'm more amazed by Shubham simply because, firstly, he's way younger, he's 24, and he did this with an Indian passport. He did this, he started traveling by hitchhiking. He had no money to travel. Today, he earns in lakhs, as a creator, as one of the biggest YouTube creators, travel creators from India. Um, Today he's really, really big, but he started with literally no money. He was hitchhiking everywhere. He was couch surfing. He used to cook for other people. So if you have big dreams, nothing is impossible. Ravi, Shubham, they are both amazing examples for you. While you start small, dream big. Yeah. So I think this is my final slide that I hope this inspires you and let this become the blueprint for your next trip. Pick a place, track flights, research neighborhoods, save experiences, but leave room for surprise. Yeah. Um, yeah. And this brings us to this question, which is I have hopefully inspired you with this presentation today, with this webinar today. What action are you going to commit to taking at the end of this webinar? Are you going to create a flight price alert? Are you going to start researching the next destination? Are you going to create your own travel fund, which will help you travel to your dream destination? Commit to it, not for me, for yourself, because you owe it to yourself to explore yourself, to explore the world, and come back richer with experiences. Nice. I see a lot of commitments here. I'm very happy to know that. That's wonderful. Thank you everyone for that. Uh, Technically, we are done with the presentation, but I'm just going to leave this for you again with a in case you want a screenshot. Once again, I think this two or three images which I had earlier are breaking even here. So I will share this presentation with Ankit and team, and maybe they can share it with you so that you don't have to screenshot it right now.
Sure. We will share with all those people who have registered for the session, so they will get
Wonderful,
the resources on Monday on
wonderful.
their Zoom platform by email.
Great, great. So these are the resources I have shared about stay, for experiences, and useful apps to help you with your travels. And that's it. That brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for your patience. You have been a very, very patient and kind audience. And hopefully you have learned some amazing things today. Hopefully I was able to add something to your knowledge of travel. Do let me know how you found this. And thank you to Ankit, to Zaina, to the entire Ethica team, to Shiva sir, to all of you for inviting me for this presentation. It's been an absolute honor and a privilege to be a part of this.
Uh, Kaushal, we do have some questions from our audience. So,
Mhm.
one question from Vaishnavi: what is the best website to book low prices ticket inside India? Like she asking for India.
Okay, inside India, I would say, like I said, I think I had mentioned this earlier. So the two websites I normally go to are ClearTrip and Ixigo. But on top of this, I will say try Google Flights.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Google Flights kind of aggregates from multiple sources.
Got
While ClearTrip and Ixigo aggregate from travel partners, Google Flights aggregates across all airlines and also from these kind of services. So I think Google Flights might be the best answer for figuring out where do you book from. You don't actually book on Google, but it will direct you to the cheapest fare. Thanks for the question, Vaishnavi. Is there anybody else with more questions? Oh,
Yes,
thank you
we
for the
have.
ratings. Thank you for the ratings. I'm glad most of you enjoyed the session. Sorry, you were
Okay.
saying something.
Yes, I was just uh, putting up the questions put up by the audience. Like
Yeah.
Yashash was also asking about the credit cards. Like, are they accessible at all scanners and UPI payments?
Uh, Sorry, can you repeat that again? You were asking about credit cards. Are they accepted everywhere?
Yes. Are they accessible
Okay,
at all scanners?
at
That's
all
the question.
scanners. You mean okay
Yes.
at the POS, the point of sale station, right? Okay, good question because I will tell you two difficulties that I have faced. Once was in Vietnam and once was in Brazil. Yeah. So um in Brazil, they have a strange system. Sometimes you have to explicitly tell them whether you have a credit card or a debit card when you're tapping it, especially. And you have to because if you're using a travel card, they consider it like a credit card. So whichever country you are going to, just do a little bit research on the way they manage payments, especially if it's a country that you don't know enough people who have been to that country, right? Then do a little bit research on that. And in Vietnam, oh, Vietnam, when you're going there, please, please don't forget to inform your bank that you are traveling. Because the moment I was in Vietnam and I tried making a transaction, my card was blocked. And I tweeted about this saying, why is this ICICI Bank doing this? Why have you blocked my card? And then somebody from the banking industry, he told me that, you know what, Vietnam is actually blacklisted by Indian banks because there are a lot of fraudulent transactions that happen there. Um, I don't know whether they happen there digitally or whether they happen there in person, but it is apparently blacklisted by Indian banks. So whenever you're traveling to Vietnam, in fact, I would say whenever you're traveling internationally, just call your, uh, you know, if you have a relationship manager or RM, wonderful. If you don't, then just visit your nearby branch and tell them that, hey, I'm traveling internationally. Please don't block my card. Please ensure that my card remains active. I hope that answers the question. Is there any
Yes.
other question?
Yes, and we have a couple of questions as well, like how do they get cash? Because in many places cards are not accepted.
Okay, yeah, great. So I think, like I mentioned also, right, don't rely on ATMs. In fact, I would say as much as possible, don't even depend on them. Uh, if you are getting any cash, ensure that, let's say, for example, you are going to spend, I think I had carried about $100 per day for my first 10 days of my Japan trip so that I always have that much money if there is no other way to use cards, right? And thankfully, because my trip was for 30 days, that money lasted me longer. So I would say just carry Forex. So carry, if you're going to Japan, carry Japanese yen from India, get it converted here and then take it there. You may pay a little more, but it is better than getting it out there, withdrawing cash there. At the same time, if you need to withdraw cash there, just be careful. Try to use the travel cards because the advantage of the travel cards is it will not directly affect your bank account, your savings, right? So, for example, you can load 10,000 rupees into the travel card and withdraw only that much worth of the local currency there. And your risk is very limited there. So you can withdraw cash using a travel card ideally. Don't use credit card ever for withdrawing cash because you will lose a lot of money with credit cards.
Okay, so here's somebody asking which visa to apply for, say US F1 visa to unlock travel around the world, and how to justify an application.
US F1.
Yes, that's what it is.
F1 is tourist, right? If I'm not wrong. I'm not sure about the number or the whatever. But for a US travel visa or a tourist visa, it's pretty simple. Like I said, you have to be as honest as possible. All your paperwork has to be in place. And how do you justify? Like I said, part of the US visa is sheer luck. So you have to be prepared that part of it is going to be luck. Um, there are enough people who I know that have gotten their US visa in their first instance. I did not get it in the first instance. I got it the second time I applied after like 6 years. So don't be disheartened if you ever get rejected. But I would say first travel when you're traveling internationally, travel first to other countries and then try to apply for US or Schengen. That automatically, improves your profile overall. So good financials, good cover letter, right documentation, enough proof of traveling around. That sets you above most of the crowd, so you should not worry about it.
Okay, so there's another question from okay. So what will be the best website to book low prices ticket inside India?
Within India,
I
I
think
mentioned
it
that,
is
no? Clear,
already
clear,
answered, Vijayna.
yeah, yeah, Clear Trip or Exigo.
Okay, apologies
But
for
you can also use no worries, no worries. Clear Trip, Exigo, and at the same time, Google Flights. That also helps. So basically, just on
okay,
Google,
okay, okay.
just do like uh, Kolkata to Bagdogra, for example, or Bombay to Goa or whatever, and you will get a lot of options there. I would say Google Flights. Don't even go to the website. But my preference is ClearTrip and Ixigo just because of experience, and I like the. I would actually say ClearTrip because I'm a designer also, right? So I like the ClearTrip UI. Their design is the best. That's the reason I choose them.
Great, great. So if there's anyone who wants to speak or ask any query directly, you can just raise your hand and
Yeah.
we'll allow you to speak.
And even after this, maybe you're tired, maybe you're looking forward to the weekend. No worries if you are feeling a little, shy about asking questions right now. I have put my handle here. I'm at the rate Exotic Gringo on any of your favorite platforms, whether it is Twitter or Threads or Instagram or YouTube. Everywhere I'm Exotic Gringo, even TikTok, but TikTok doesn't work in India now. So feel free to ping me there if you have any other questions, and I would be happy to answer that.
Okay. So anyone? All right, no worries.
I think people are shy on just looking forward to the weekend now. Thank you for being such a patient audience, everyone.
Okay, so we have the last query, I guess, from S. Gupta, that the top destinations for the
Okay.
next month, June 2026, domestic or internationally?
Top destinations for the month of June 2026, domestic and international. That's the question.
Yes.
Um, mm, mm, mm. Well, typically I would probably be able to give you a better answer, but right now, internationally at least, with the war going on this side of the world, I would just try to be, even if you're going to Europe, for example, like two of my friends are currently in Hungary, and they had to take a really long route. So I would personally say this June, especially, just don't try to go that side at all. Try to do more of Southeast Asia. Um, but in general, it's a good time to do almost all places in whether it is Europe, whether it is South America in general is such a big continent that it is impossible to tell you that this is the best time to go here because every month the climate will change across different countries. So it's a huge, huge continent. It will have multiple climates at the same time. Um, Within India, June will be monsoons in a lot of places, so be careful. As long as you enjoy monsoons, even in Goa, for example, I love monsoons in Goa, so I will even recommend Goa, for example. Um, but just be aware of that, right? So whether there are going to be landslides if you're in the mountains, um, whether it's going to be safe overall. Uh, if you are into adventure tourism, there are places, for example, in the northeast where you get the most amount of rainfall in India. You may like that kind of thing, right? So there is no right or wrong answer here. It really depends on what you are seeking. And my general advice is don't try to do, where should I go in which month? Figure out what are your places that you want to go to. Figure out when do you have time and try to match them, right? Because sometimes the shoulder season, like for example, I went to Italy at the worst time possible. I went to Italy in August. Did I have a horrible time? No, I still had a great time. It was really hot, and I did try to escape that heat and went to San Marino. I enjoyed it, and I came back to Italy, and I still had a good time there. So, I would say, the whole world is your oyster. Just go wherever you feel like. Don't look at ideal destinations because what will happen is if somebody tells you, oh, you must go to Munnar in June, and everybody, all travel agents say the same thing, you will end up, being there with thousands of other people. So try to look beyond these obvious things that where should you travel in particular month. Having said that, I will still probably just send you a list of places. I will also have to do a little research because I don't have a ready list of which places to go in. I don't go by that logic at all.
Okay, thank you so much, Kaushal, for answering it. Well, we have an anonymous attendee asking best cheap and unhidden place to travel for honeymoon.
Cheap and unhidden place for honeymoon. I think I already mentioned two of my favorite places, right? One is Goa, where I am right now. Look, the beauty of Goa is that there is something for everyone. Whether you want to go for a very cheap accommodation, which can be even under 1,000 rupees, or you want something extremely lavish and luxury. You want something for kids, for family, for couples, for a honeymoon, for solo traveler. It's all there, right? So uh, Goa and the Maldives, Thailand, these are all beach destinations, right? If you're looking for something in the mountains, my favorite destination would be Bhutan. It's an amazing, it's a magical country. It would be worth going there for your honeymoon. And now you have a lot of the stans opening up, right? So the Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, these are opening up. And I am seeing people visiting these countries also as their honeymoon. One of my close friends, you'll be surprised that they went for their honeymoon to Iran. Not now, obviously. It's not the ideal time to visit Iran, but they had the most magical time in Iran. This was 8 years ago when they got married and then they went for their honeymoon. So I would say again, there is no right or wrong answer there. But I think your question was, which is the unhidden place, right? So a common place. I think the most common ones would be, like I said, Goa, uh, Ladakh, these places in the north, uh, Dehradun, McLeodganj, if you're going for the mountains, Ooty in the south with mountains. Kerala is always incredible. Perhaps the only place I like more than Goa is Kerala. Um, then, like I said, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Vietnam, literally the whole world is a great option. But try to stick to Southeast Asia. Just be safe currently.
Okay, so I guess that's all. And there's a question that is it good to pay in dollar for getting flights or in Indian rupees?
Good to pay in dollars because you're booking via a US service, is it? I don't know why the question for paying in dollars would arise in the first place. It would depend. I mean, the answer would depend. If you're getting a better deal in dollars, why not book it? Because, for example, when I was in South America and I was booking from there, a friend of mine in Brazil, he helped me book my flights to Ecuador, and those were paid in dollars, and I paid it to him, and that's how the transaction happened. So if you get it really depends on where, if you convert the currency, if your dollar rate, you're still getting a better deal in dollars, then do a dollar transaction.
So I hope we are done for today. And thank you so much, Kaushal, for such a wonderful session. And
It's been
thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much for your time. So, as we have come to the end of this session, and I'll just sincerely thank to all the attendees and to you as well for giving us such hidden and wonderful hacks and valuable insights. Also, it would really help us to make our traveling safer, smoother, as well as wonderful and, of course, budget friendly as well. So, because some of your tips were really wonderful. So, we appreciate the time and energy and you have put on this, and we hope everything now is feeling good and excited for the upcoming weekend plans and adventures. So, thank you once again, everyone, for joining today's session and have a happy and refreshing, wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you so much, Kaushal.
Thank you, Team Ethica. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Please go travel somewhere. Make some awesome weekend plans.
Yeah.
Have a safe
Cheers.
and wonderful travel in future.
Absolutely.